Yes, sir.
Just wait a minute. Down your doubt in the chat box, and if slide is not visible to you, then you can please let me know. So today we have to revise the sessions about the DBMS subject, and today we are going to revise about the join operations. Mostly in the placements, join operations and the subqueries are the most favorite topics. So we start with the joins, and then we in the next session we will consider the subquery related topics. What is subquery and what is core-related subquery, that we have to understand. Okay, so let's revise with the join operation first. So if you remember, there are two types of joins. Basically, if you revise from this DBMS, then inner join and outer join. And outer join is again divided into the three, that is left outer join and right outer join and full outer join. Okay, so just a minute. So anyone remembers about this? That what is left outer join or right outer join? We are going with the examples, so don't worry about that if you don't remember. What is inner join or outer join? If anyone remembers, can you please tell me? So join means combining the two tables. Okay. So how the tables are combined or how the information is extracted from two different tables, that is the concept of join. So let's start with the first one, that is the inner join. So when we consider this inner join, then suppose we have table 1 and table 2. As I told you, join means we are going to extract the information from two tables. So here we consider table 1 and table 2. So how the inner join is applied? So when we consider the inner join, so it means the common thing between table 1 and table 2 is considered within the inner join. Understood, students? What is inner join? That inner join is going to create the new result table. Okay, and how that new result table is prepared, that it is going to combine the column values of these two tables, that is table 1 and table 2, based on the common things. Okay, means whatever is a suppose we are going to consider the two tables, customers and orders. Okay, so within customer we know that there is a information related to the customer. Okay, and there is an order table. So within customer and order, the customer ID is same. Okay, so based on that customer ID, we can place the inner join operation, that we can find out that which customer has paid or placed the order of which amount on which date. This information we can obtain. So I just show you one example also. It is also the example, but it is only in terms of the one particular syntax. So let us consider the another example now, that there is an supplier, like as I told you, customer and order. Similarly here, supplier and order. Okay, so supplier is having the particular ID, its name and address, and next whatever is the order placed by that supplier, that order number is given here 101 102. Okay, and that supplier ID, if you observe 1 and 2, this supplier ID is also present within the supplier table. So here it is an city where that order is placed. So how we can apply the inner join here? So when we apply the inner join, so here within the select statement, which columns we are going to consider? So as we know that there are two different tables. So whenever we want to extract the column, so we have to write down the table name first. From which table we are extracting that column? Though the column name is same, for example, supplier ID is here, supplier ID is here also, but from which table we are obtaining that supplier ID, that is important. So select supplier dot supplier ID, comma, supplier dot supplier name, and order dot order one dot order number. Okay, so these columns we are going to extract with the help of this join operation, or this information we are going to extract from these two tables. Okay, so in the first from operation, or we can say from when we write down the from, in that case we have to write down the table 1. Please remember this thing, where we have to write down the table 1 name and table 2 name. That is most important thing here. So when we consider the inner join, so always table 1 name, that is the left side table name, is appearing in the from, and right side table name is appearing in the join after the join keyword. That is the inner join keyword, after the inner join keyword. This thing you have to remember always. So what we have to find out here, that we want to, what is the statement about this query, what this query is going to execute. The aim of this query is what, that we have to find out such a suppliers who have placed the order. So total suppose 3 suppliers here, but among these 3 only 2 has placed the order. This third number supplier has not placed any order. So we have to find out such a suppliers who has placed the order. Okay, we have to only find out such a suppliers who has placed the order. So here we can use the inner join, because the information about the orders is maintained within the order table, and the information about the suppliers is maintained within the supplier table. So we have to access these two tables to obtain the information that how many suppliers has placed the order and what is the details of that supplier. Details of that supplier means what is the supplier ID, what is the supplier name, and what kind of order placed by that supplier. This information we have to extract. So for that purpose we have to use these two tables, that is the supplier table and the order table. And how we are going to extract it? With the help of join operation. And which join operation? Inner join. Okay, so this inner join we are using here. So what is the syntax? The syntax to write down this join operation is what? Select statement, then which information you want to select. Based on that you have to select the column name here. But as I told you, within the join operation we have to use more than one table. So whenever we are using more than one table within join also, or within a subquery also, we have to write down the table name first and then column name, that it indicates this column is obtained from this table. Okay, then within the inner join, or within this particular join operation in from, we are going to write down the table 1 name here. That is the left side table name is appearing in the from, and after inner join keyword, right side table is appearing here. That is second table is appearing here. That is order 1 table is appearing here. Then on keyword we have to use. On which condition we are executing this query? That is supplier ID must be equals to the order supplier ID. Okay, means this ID must present within this table, otherwise it is not possible. So this kind of result we are going to obtain, that is the details of supplier and what kind of order they have placed. So two suppliers have placed the order, and here are the order numbers. So based on these order numbers we can find out the details of that order. It is just a snap of this table. This table may contain more than these three columns or these three columns. Here it is just an snapshot of this table. It is not a detailed table. Clear? Just to understand the concept. So any doubt within this, students, up till now, within this inner join? Have you understood what is the concept of inner join? It is going to obtain the common information from two tables. That is the concept of inner join. If you remember in with the help of this Venn diagram, it is an intersect of these two tables, or we can say two sets. So whatever is the common thing within that, based on that common thing we are going to extract the data. So whenever we are using the join operation, we have to remember that we are using such a kind of tables in which there is something common. At least one common column must be there. Understood, students? Any doubt within this?
No.
So move with the next one. That is a left outer join. Now outer join is having the three types of joins: left outer, right outer, and full full join, we can say. Okay. So left outer join means what? As I told you that there are two tables or more than one table. So table 1 and table 2. So it is a left side table always, and it is a right side table always. So left outer join means it is related to the left table. That we have to remember. Clear? So now what is the left outer join, that I will tell you. Just a minute. So when we consider the left outer join, so it is always going to return all the rows from the left table. All the rows from the left table, that is from the table 1. Even if there is no match in the right table. Understood? If it is not matching with the table 2, then also it is going to return the content of left table, that is a table 1. That it means what? If with on that on clause, okay, if match is 0, okay, in the right table, then also it is going to return the result. Understood? And if there is any match, then also it is going to return the result. So how it is, that I will tell you. So what is the syntax for this? Again, select statement. Then what information you have to extract, based on that you have to select the column names. Again, table 1 is here. The left side table is appearing within the from, and after the join keyword, the right side table name is appearing here. Understood? Right side table name is appearing here. So what kind of join you are going to use? That join name you have to write down here. Left outer join. On condition you have to mention. Okay, this is the condition. So let us consider an example. Again we consider the same tables here. Same scenario we have to consider, that is a supplier table is there and order table is there. So now how we are going to apply this left outer join? Just concentrate. So we are going to extract the same information, that is details of supplier along with the order number. And when we are using this left outer join instead of inner join, what is the difference? That you can observe over here. So just a minute. Now you can observe here. So total 14 rows are here. Only visible records are 3. And here total records are 3. Clear? So if you observe here within the output, that we have all the rows here which are matching with this table 2 also and not matching with this table 2 also. All the rows. If you observe, third number is also appearing, 1 and 2 is also appearing, remaining are also appearing here. Okay. So that is the importance of left outer join. When you have to deal with the left side table, then you have to use the left outer join. Understood? That when we have to use the left outer join, that left outer join is going to return all the values from the left table, plus if there is any match value from the right table, and if there is no match, then null in case of no matching. Understood? That when we have to use the left outer join.
Yes, sir.
Now, just I will show you where that null is appearing. If you observe here it is in dash. So there are different SQL versions. Instead of dash, in some SQL version null is appearing. Okay. So if you write down that replace condition is also there, that if dash is there, then you must write down the null. So this is the case here. This supplier ID is not appearing within this order table. These only 1 and 2 supplier ID is appearing within this order table, so that this order number is appearing here. But remaining suppliers are not going to place any order, so that dash is appearing here, that they have not placed any order up till now. But this record is appearing here because it is a table number 1, it is a left side table, so that this all records are appearing here. Okay. So now same with the right outer join. Here we have to concentrate on the right side table, that is on the data within the right side table, that is a table 2. So same format or same syntax we can say, that is select the information which we want to extract from these two tables. Then again within the from, we have to write down the left side table name, table 1. And here we have to use a keyword, that is a right outer join. And after join keyword, obviously you have to write down the second table name. And on condition, you have to write down the condition for the matching. So let us consider the same supplier table and the order table again, and how we are going to apply the query. So if you observe here, total 3 records are present within this order table. So we have to show all these 3 records. So all these 3 records are appearing here, 101, 102 and 105. But among these 3, only 2 is having the supplier name. Only 2 is having the supplier name here. Third one is not having the supplier name. Why? Because that supplier name is not appearing within this table. That is the reason. Understood now what is right outer join and what is left outer join? Any doubt within this, students? So if I am going to describe about the right join, that is a right outer join, so what it is going to do, it is going to return all the rows from the right side table, that is a table 2, even if there is no match in the left table. Okay. And if there is a match, then it is going to return reflect that within that particular column, otherwise null, means dash is appearing here. This dash is nothing but the null. Okay, this dash is nothing but the null. So now let's move towards the next one. If you have any doubt, just tell me, or you can just on your mic if you don't understood anything. Now full outer join means what? So within the full outer join, we have to combine the result of table 1 and table 2. Okay, so how it is combined, that I will show you now with the same scenario of supplier and order number. So if you observe here that table number 1 and table number 2 is combined here. How it is combined? That if you observe here that supplier ID is present here, then order number is also present over here, and we have placed the condition here. Supplier ID must be equals to the order supplier ID, so that only two order numbers are appearing here. If you remember from the last scenario that 105 is the order which is not placed by any of the supplier present within this supplier table, so that here it is a null. Same thing is applicable here, that 105 order number is not appearing here or within this table, we can say, because it is not going to present within this one due to this condition. As I told you that it is the concept of full join is what it is going to combine the result of both left and right outer join. Okay, but based on the condition, it is not the case that all the rows and columns of table 1 and table 2 are placed within the resulting table. It is not the case. Whatever is the condition given here, here we are comparing the supplier ID. Maybe in case in another scenario we are going to compare another two column content. So here we have to compare the supplier ID of supplier and supplier ID of order. So based on this condition, we are going to obtain the data over here using the full outer join. Understood, students, the concept of full outer join? Any doubt within this? If you have any doubt, then please tell me. No doubt? You have understood?
Yes.
So that is good. So let's move towards the next one. There is a equi-join. So anyone remembers about the equi-join? As per the name or example, anyone guess what is the equi-join? Slide is visible to everyone or not? स्लाइड विजिबल है तो आप गेस कर सकते हो, और विजिबल नहीं है तो फिर से आपको शेयर करता हूँ. You can just observe the example and you can tell me that what is the equi-join. Just try once.
Sir, it's the same as inner join.
Same as an inner join. Then what is the difference we can say? Here, if you observe that agent ID is here and here column name is what? Customer ID. So here column name is different. If you observe here, column names are different, though we are comparing it. In inner join, what happens? That column names are same. Then we are going to compare here in the inner join. But in equi-join, the tables are going to contain the columns with the different name. Here agent ID and here it is an customer ID. And we are going to compare these both IDs, whether they are equal or not. It means what? they are going to contain the same data. Means, for example, here customer ID is 101, here agent ID is also 101, but column head is different. Data is same, but column head is different. Then in that case, we can use the equijoin. Understood the difference? When we have to use the inner join and when we have to use the equijoin? Any doubt within these, students? So can anyone please tell me that when we have to use the inner join and when we have to use the equijoin? These are the important concepts, students. So please, I request everyone to please listen carefully. So understood? Any doubt within this equijoin? The main difference between the equijoin and inner join is what? In equijoin, column names are different and we can compare it if data contents are same. In inner join, column name must be the same along with the data. Then we can perform the operation of join. Then self join. Self join is the join which is applied on that table itself. On that table itself means only one table is involved within this join operation, within this self join operation, within this type of join operation. As I told you before, that within the join operation we have to consider more than one table, but here it is an only join type where we have to consider only one table, which is called as a self join. And how we can perform the operation on this single table? So for that purpose we have to create the names like A and B, or we can say alias. That table 1, first alias is A, second alias is B, or the copy A and copy B of the one table. Like here, customers is a one table, A and B, these are the copies, and on these copies we are going to apply the self join. How we are going to apply the self join? That we require a name, age and salary, but name is from the A copy, age is from the B copy, again salary is from the A copy. And how we are going to extract this information? By comparing the salary. Okay, how it means what? We have one table and within that table we have to compare the salary of each and every employee with each other. So we can find out the maximum salary, that which employee is going to obtain the maximum salary, or who is the highest paid employee and who is the lowest paid employee. This thing we can find out with the help of this query. So means when we have to perform the comparison within the table itself and we want to obtain the result, so in that case we have to use the self join. Understood, students? When we have to use the self join, that when we have to perform the comparison within the table itself, so in that case we can use a self join. Understood? Any doubt within this? If you have any doubt, then please tell me. No doubt? Understood, everyone? So it is all about the join operation. Clear? So still we have the time now. So we start with the subquery now. So any doubt within this join operation, students? Inner join, outer join. equijoin, self join. No doubt. Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
So let's start with the subquery now. If you have the doubt that based on this DBMS that is there any jobs or not, okay, so you just go onto the portal of Naukri. If possible, I just show you that is there any vacancy or not. It is visible, student. If you go onto the Naukri platform and just write down PLSQL developer and search, then this kind of results are obtained. And if you search for the fresher, then also various vacancies are there. SQL queries, okay. SQL queries are the basic thing that is required. Here you can observe SQL, lot many vacancies posted on the different job platforms or these job portals like Naukri, Monster. So there is a requirement always about the database. Okay, front end, back end. So total post, if you observe, you can see the total count of post for the PLSQL job 998. If it is visible to you, these are the posts only. Number of vacancies are provided within this when you click on this. Okay. So don't think that that DBMS is not going to give you a job. It is only DBMS can also give you the job, and you can apply on these kind of platforms. Okay. So please prepare your profile on this kind of platforms. Just try in the different companies with the different package. So let's discuss about the subqueries now. So the basic objectives about this subquery is what? To describe the type of problems which can handle by the subquery, or we can say the single row operation or the multiple row operation. So we can write down the single row or the multi-row subquery. For example, these are the questions here, that where we can apply the concept of subquery to solve the particular problem. So such kind of questions are here. Who has a salary greater than John's? Which employee have a salary greater than John's salary? And what is the John's salary? Okay, so let's start one by one. Okay, so select how first we understand the syntax, that how we are going to write down the subquery. As we know that there is an inner query and outer query. So here it is an outer query. This one is called as an outer query, and this one is called as an inner query. So as we observe here, that where clause is used, so we can use a different clause, where clause, having clause, from, and you can place that subquery within this different clause. Means you can place the subquery here also, within this from clause also. There are different scenarios, and within this where expression, we can use the different comparison operator also, that is less than, greater than, equals to. Okay, this kind of operations we can use here, equals to operator. These are the different operators we can use. And when there is a multi-row operations, so we can use a multi-row operators like in, any, all. This kind of operators we can use. How to use them, that we observe one by one now. So subquery. So now this subquery is structured like this, that we want to find out the salary. Okay, so which salary we want to find out, and please try to remember that within the subquery, the inner query is executed first, then the second number is about the outer query. So what is the inner query? If you observe that we are going to find out the salary from which table, that is from the employee table. And whose salary we are going to find out? We are going to find out the salary of this employee number, that is 7566. So what is the salary of this employee? So suppose its salary is 50,000. Okay, so what we are going to check, other than this employee, there are some other employees also within this table. So whose salary is greater than 50,000? That is the scenario here. If you observe here the sign, that whose salary is greater than 50,000, that list we are going to prepare here. That employee name list we have to prepare here. So these are the 4 employee names whose salary is greater than the 50,000. So first we have to find out that particular employee salary, and then we have to compare it with the other salaries. Understood? Suppose within the organization, suppose I am an employee, what is my salary? And my salary is compared with the other salary. Okay. So within that case, first you need to find out my salary and then you have to compare it with the others. That is the concept of subquery. Understood? Any doubt within this, students? So let's move towards the next. Another example here again. So here it is an employee number given 7369 and we have to find out the job, or we can say the job type. Okay, job means which kind of job is done by this 7369. So this 7369 is going to do the job of clerk. Okay, he is going to do the job of clerk. So who are the other employees who are working on this designation of clerk? That we have to find out. So it is done with the help of subquery. That for example, that we have, this is an employee. Okay, suppose manager is going find out this is an one employee, and but suppose there is a scenario, we will consider one scenario. One employee approaches to the manager and that employee is requesting for the salary raise. Okay, so that manager is first going to ask that in which department you are working, okay, and what is your designation. So that employee tells that I am working in that particular sales department and my designation is clerk. So manager first takes the revision of salary, that how much salary is paid within that department to the all clerks or within the other departments also, and how much salary raise we can give. So first what he find out, that manager is going to find out what is the designation of that employee, that is the job title of that employee, that is the clerk, and then he is going to find out other similar employees also working on the same post, and then they can provide the salary rise. This kind of scenarios are there where we can use the subquery. Understood? Any doubt within this, students? Concept of subquery. No doubt. We can move to the next slide now. Next scenario about the subquery. So let's move towards the next scenario. Now this subquery is related to the next concept, that is a aggregation function, that is minimization, that is minimum value, maximum value, then sum, count, and here also the concept of group by. So what is the scenario here? That we have to find out the employees with the minimum salary in every department. Okay. Suppose there are 3 departments with this department numbers 10, 20 and 30. These are the department numbers. Suppose 10, 20 and 30. Suppose it is an HR. Suppose it is an IT and it is an marketing. Okay. Suppose it is an marketing department, it is an IT department, and it is an HR department. So there are 3 departments, suppose, and within these 3 departments, I want to find out the employees with the minimum salary. How I am going to find out that? When suppose there is an organization, and within that organization there are different departments, like our college. Okay, within our college there are different departments like CE, CSE, IT, mechanical, civil, electrical. These are the different departments, and within this all the departments we have to find out the employee with the minimum salary. Okay, so from each department we have to find out the employee with the minimum salary. So here we have to use the concept of subquery, otherwise it is not possible. So how we can apply the subquery here? So we have to first find out the minimum salary. We have to first find out the minimum salary within each department. And after that we can find out that who is the employee who is getting that minimum salary. Okay, means first we have to find out what is the minimum salary in each department, and after that finding out that minimum salary we can find out what is the employee detail who is getting that minimum salary. Okay, so to find out the minimum salary we have to use the aggregate function, that is the minimum salary from the employee, and it is grouped by the department number, because we have to find out the minimum salary in each department, not within the one individual department, within the each department. So group by department number. So after finding out the minimum salary, we have to find out the details of that employee. Details of that employee means name of that employee, salary, minimum salary of that employee, and in which department that employee is working. So that we have used here the column names, employee name, salary, and the department name from employee table. And here we have used the in keyword. In keyword means what? That we have to check within the list. So that we have used the in keyword here, where salary in this within the list of minimum salary, the list of minimum salary is obtained like this: 950, 800, 1300. 950 in 30 number department, that is in marketing, 800 within the 20 number department within the IT, and then this 1300 within the HR department, that is the 10 number department. Understood? Any doubt within these, students? No doubt? Understood this scenario? Can we move towards the next scenario now? Any doubt within this? To move towards the
No,
next
sir.
one. Okay, so move towards the next one now. How we can use the any keyword within the subquery. So here if you observe, the scenario is what? That we have to find out such a employees with their employee number, employee name and job type, that we have to find out such a employees whose job type is clerk, okay, and salary is less than that clerk, okay, understood. Job type is clerk. Here what is the output of this subquery? And job type is clerk and the salary we are going to find out of the clerk, okay. So suppose this salary is 40,000, okay, and we are going to compare it with the other employee salaries. So we have observed that these are the employees who are going to obtain less than 40,000 or due to this comparison operator, less than any. So these are the employees with the less than 40,000 salary, less than 40,000 payment or the salary. Understood? Why I am going to consider this different scenario? If you observe the previous scenario, where I use the in keyword without any comparison operator. Here we have used the equals to comparison operator. Here we have used greater than comparison operator. Okay. So if you observe, the output of this subquery is only a 50,000, means only one value. This single value is compared here because only one employee record we have find out. Hence this subquery is provided only one answer. Now next, this subquery is also going to provide only one answer, single row answer. It is called as a single row subquery because what is the output here? That this employee number is going to do which type of job? That is a clerk. So single row output. Now here if you observe that we have obtained the multi-row output, not only a single row, more than one row, that we are going to find out the minimum salary in each department. So that we are considering this different scenario. That subquery can provide a single output, that is a single row output or a multi-row output. So depending upon that, we have to use the keyword specifically. Now if you observe here, these are the single row output queries, single row output inner subqueries, so that we are using the comparison operator here without any keyword, that is less than, greater than or equals to. We are not going to use in any this kind of keywords. Now we are not going to use, okay. Why? Because these are the single row query. When there are more than one row query, or we can say the multi-row subqueries, then within that case we can use this kind of keywords, in, any and all. Understood? To check within the list, to check within the output list produced by the inner subquery. So please try to understand these things, that when we have to use in, any and all, and exist and not exist. Exist and not exist is used in the correlated subqueries, okay, and the simple subqueries, that is a nested subqueries, is following the bottom up approach. Bottom up approach means what? The subquery or the inner query is executed first, and whatever is the result, it is going to forward to the outer query. That is called as an bottom up approach. In case of correlated subquery, the top down approach is used, means outer query is executed first and the result is passed on to the inner query. Understood the difference between the nested subquery and the correlated subquery? Nested subquery is going to use the bottom up approach, that is inner query is executed first and then outer query. In correlated subquery, Outer query is executed first and then inner query. Understood the difference? This difference is asked within the placements. That which are the different types of subquery? So nested subquery and the correlated subquery. Then which are the different approaches used within these two types of subquery? So in nested subquery bottom up approach, that is inner subquery is executed first and then outer. In correlated subquery, top down approach is used. It means that outer subquery is executed first and results are passed on to the inner subquery. Understood? Any doubt within this? Students? So please try to remember, in single row output, there is a single row subquery, we can use a comparison operator. In multi-row subquery is going to return the more than one result. So we can use the in, any and all keyword, and we can use only that keywords, or if required, we can use a comparison operator along with that particular keywords, that is in, any and all. With these keywords we can use a comparison operator also, but for the multi-row query only. For the single row we are just using the comparison operator. Clear? So please try to remember this thing. That's why we are considering these different scenarios of subquery. Okay. So which scenario we have discussed? So first scenario is the simple. It is about the salary, that a particular employee number we have, and that using that employee number we have find out the salary of that employee, and this salary is compared with the other employee's salary. And by comparing, what is the result? That we have find out the employees with the more salary than that of particular employee. That this employee number 7566 having the 50,000 salary, and the list here we have obtained, they are having the more than 50,000 salary. Understood? Any doubt within this? Now, if you observe here, we are going to check two things within this subquery and within this condition. So what we are going to check, if you remember this query, that we have find out the jobs with this clerk title, okay, and we have compared it with the, we are comparing that clerk salary with the other employee's salary, and we found that these are the employees, that this may James, all these 5 employees having the less than 40,000 salary, suppose. So now here clerks are also included. We want to find out only the employees with the other designation other than clerk designation. Then what is the condition we can place? So these are the conditions. That first we find out the clerk salary. After finding out the clerk salary, we have to find out such a employees who is having the salary less than clerk salary. Suppose clerk salary is what? Suppose it is a 40,000. So we have to find out such a employees whose salary is less than 40,000, but job title is different. Means, but job title is not equals to the clerk. So we have find out these two employees with the salesman designation who is having the less than 40,000 salary. Understood how the condition is placed after the subquery. After the subquery, we have placed the condition. Understood now? So let's check the another scenario now. Now here if you observe, we have used the any keyword and the less than sign. And now next within next scenario, we are going to use the all keyword and greater than sign. So what is the difference you are going to observe here within this any and all? Any one of you can give me the answer? What is the result here? The reflected result. Can you justify this result? That what is it is going to indicate? What is going to indicate? There may be such kind of questions within the interview, within the live interview. A query is given and you have to predict the output. Maybe query and output is given, you have to find out the statement. In exam what happens? A statement is given and you have to write down the query. एग्जाम में क्या होता है, ऐसा ही होता है ना, स्टेटमेंट दिया हुआ रहता है and you have to write down the query. But in actual job interviews, that is the different scenario. Okay, very rare time they are going to give the statement and write down the query. Most of the time they are going to provide the query. There may be some mistake within that
like
query, you have to
जो मेरा
correct that
रोल
query and you have to
है कंपनी में
give
उससे
the
भी
correct results. Or the query and result is provided and you have to check that provided results are correct or not. Okay. So what is your answer? You can give me the answer in the chat box. So one answer is obtained, I think. Salary of all employee greater than the max salary of clerk. Max salary of clerk. क्लर्क की मैक्सिमम सैलरी कहाँ फाइंड आउट किया हमने? प्लीज रिवाइज योर स्टेटमेंट.
मैक्सिमम सैलरी मतलब उसने बोला है ग्रेटर देन ऑल, तो ऑल होगा तो उसमें से ऑब्वियसली जो सबसे मैक्सिमम होएगा उससे बड़ा होना चाहिए ना, तो वो सबसे बड़ा हो ही जाएगा ऑटोमेटिकली.
क्लर्क नहीं ना, क्लर्क तो छोटा रहेगा ना. देखो ना यहाँ पे साइन क्या है.
नहीं, व्हाट आई मीन इज कि जो सब क्वेरी है सिलेक्ट सैलरी फ्रॉम एम्प्लॉय वेयर जॉब इक्वल टू क्लर्क, तो उसमें से तो जितने भी एम्प्लॉयज है जो उनकी डेसिग्नेशन क्लर्क की है उनकी सैलरी मिल गई. अब फिर ऑल है तो ऑल का जो मैक्सिमम होएगा उससे बड़ा होना चाहिए ना.
ओके ओके, देन दैट इज करेक्ट. सो व्हाट इज द लिस्ट रिप्रेजेंटिंग हियर? व्हाट इज द आउटपुट रिप्रेजेंटिंग हियर? These all employees having the salary greater than the clerk. Yes. Correct or not? These all the employees with the different designation, that is a salesman, manager, analyst, president. These all are having the salary greater than clerk. Correct? Yes or no? Please reply. So obviously it is greater than that of clerk, but the designation should not be the clerk. So next, we have to find out the average salary within the each department. Okay, and after finding out the average salary, we have to check that with the other employee's salary, whether that average salary means greater than average salary is provided to which employee, and what is the job title of that employee, that we need to find out. So within that case, we have to write down the subquery like this, that we have to first find out the average salary within each department. Within each department, what is the average salary, that we have to find out. After finding out that number, we have to check that salary with the other employee's salary. So can you tell me that it is going to provide you the single row output or a multi-row output? This subquery is going to provide you a single row output or a multi-row output.
Multi-row output, sir.
Multi-row output. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everyone agree? Any doubt? Students? Can we move towards the next? So these are the simple guidelines about the subquery. So just go through that guidelines and try to follow the guidelines whenever you are going to write down the query. Please follow that. If you are going to follow these guidelines, then that is beneficial for you whenever you are going to write down the subquery. So always, I just read it once for you. Enclose the subqueries within the parentheses. Place the subqueries on the right side of comparison operator or that keywords they are going to use. Do not going to add the order by clause within the subquery. Okay, it is not required, or it may going to produce the results which is not expected to you. Okay, so single row operator with the single row subquery, that you have to remember. Do not use a single row operator with the multi-row query. So that is the basic thing. So let's move towards the scenarios. Now this single row subquery, multi-row subquery, and multi-column subqueries also. So already we have observed these queries. Now we have to just understand that these are the single row subqueries. Okay, so if you observe here, this 7369 number employee is having the job title as an clerk, and we have to find out other employees with the same job title. So these are the all employees with the same job title. So here we are going to obtain only one output, that is called as a single row output. Okay, so it is known as a single row subquery. Understood? Any doubt, students? So using group by also we can use that. So already we have observed these queries. So these are only bifurcated. Okay. So any doubt, students, within this? So in next session, that is in tomorrow's session, we will observe the correlated subquery and other concept of DBMS. So any another concept you want to revise within the DBMS? So please write down in the chat box. I have to close the session, so please reply fast. So I'm going with the different job portals. So as per their interview questions, I'm going to decide the topics now. So subqueries or correlated subqueries remaining. Then PLSQL concept, that is view, what is trigger, okay, that we are going to observe in the next session. That is the PLSQL related questions. Okay. Any another topic if you require, then just write down in the chat box. So any doubt within the today's session about today's topic? If no doubt, then I can close the session. Please reply fast. As it is
No,
an
sir.
online session, please remember students, your reply is important. And please prepare for the placements. Good package you are going to obtain. Different companies are approaching towards the college for the very high package. Just you have to prepare well, and only basic concepts are required. Expertise is not required by the companies in the fresher at the fresher level. Still the package is high. So I request everyone to prepare the basic of each and every subject which is required for the placement, like DBMS and other subjects. Basic concepts are important. Clear? So can you please give me a reply? Have you understood today's topic or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we close the session now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, normalization also I'm going to cover in the next session. So don't worry about that. Any another topic anyone want to cover? So let's close the session now. If you require any topic explanation, then just write down in the chat box. Okay. Yes, that PLSQL concept I already told you that PLSQL concept is going to be covered within the next session. That is stored procedure, view, trigger, everything. Yes, primary keys, na primary key, foreign key. That is covered within the next session when we consider that PLSQL things. Anything else? Required? Okay, let's close the session now.